Guitar stems from a few things coming together. I've had a lifelong obsession with the book Moby-Dick. I didn't read it in high school when I was supposed to. I was kind of checking out. After I graduated high school, I tried to read it again, and some weird thing would happen every time I got an edition. One started over again from the middle, and one was just missing whole sections of pages, and another one.
So neat to, create your own movement like this around a whale guitar, to have that kind of unusual vision. It's pretty terrific, and I'm all for that. I'm all for people getting out there and doing their thing, just like you say the message of the movie is, you want to do something, go out and do it, no matter how crazy people might think you are, because once you make that whale guitar and everybody starts playing it, you'll find it's not so crazy after all, and it's actually pretty terrific. So thank you for this. It's very inspiring to me, and it's going to be inspiring to a lot more people.
There's just like a real honesty and a lack of pretension in her sharing this story. And I loved the subject and, of course, the whale guitar to be front and center with this telling about the origin story of it and the mythology kind of how this was birthed, and how it connects to climate change and acts as a symbol of resistance. So we started out with like the very intimate storytelling, which I think put me at ease and connected me to her and to the guitar, and then getting to see some like pretty prolific names and pretty fantastic musicians connected to this piece. It kind of brought it into the bigger sphere, which then ultimately connected us into the environmental and political landscape. So I thought that was lovely. I thought the filmmaking was great in terms of getting to see those details up close and personal of this guitar, the textures and the details of what makes it striking.
She has an intriguing character and intriguing interests. That's the sort of great thing about documentaries, is that you find people with seemingly obscure stories and you get to understand the dynamics and the intricacies of their story, which is evident in this lady's story. The more we sort of get to know her and get into her story, there's a lot of layers being pulled back under a singular topic. So it kind of opens up before your eyes, which is incredible. And I think she's a very great character being chosen, and she speaks very well. I like how, as the sort of the title hints, there's a connection of her love for Moby-Dick, her love for music, and then climate conversation linked together. I really like how that is all sort of connected. And again, it's this sort of this peeling back of the layers of the story that goes on. So it's very, I think, a very lovely story and a very intriguing story.
The design of the guitar was so cool, and learning about the story of this kind of weird paradoxical fate between its creator and the story of Moby-Dick. It definitely gave the guitar just that bit more character and personality to me, just because of how much of a connection the creator had with Moby-Dick. Speaking of, I also really did enjoy the parallel that they made between Moby-Dick and climate change, of kind of comparing that unhealthy obsession that the captain had with taking down the whale, to comparing us to the sailors, basically saying that while it's not our fault that we're just trying to do what we do to get by, or in this case following orders, the whale is still going to kill us. And so I did like that message where it's our job to stand up to the captains of this world and tell them enough is enough. And I also loved hearing about all the different people who used this guitar, and just its history in general.
What makes this special, this documentary, is the performance elements and the musical elements in this. Just this moment where she's playing on the stairs, it really gives you the weight and breadth of how beautiful this music is and how you would feel experiencing this instrument. And then there's so many memories tied to this guitar is what also makes it special. I like how we get to get firsthand accounts of several people's experiences with it. I like that we get to hear all the various stories about how this guitar has affected people and moved people. And I like that it's tied to a bigger mission of climate change and how it was all inspired by literature and the story of Moby-Dick.
As we see this artist grow and get inspiration and create a literal object from her passion here, we have this whale guitar that ends up being used in an activist manner and having this huge allegory of happening that, you know, derives from places like Moby-Dick. You know, there is definitely intention in the design of the guitar here as she talks about capitalism being strapped and being having one man sink the ship and having the skulls of doom at the other end of the guitar and having that message be spread across and be played amongst so many people. You see the footage of just guitarist after activist after the next guitarist having a moment to kind of just shred a solo. And we talk about this act of change and um, having these small little wins and everyone doing their part, but also talking about moments of life. You know, the part that sticks out to me is when um, the documentarian speaks on this very beautiful, positive moment of this guitar kind of being brought out into the streets and being serenaded along in the crowd. And it was really nice that there was footage to also share that experience. So it was really cool that um, she enjoyed this, you know, visual experience so much, but it was able to be caught on tape. So for us as the audience to kind of reflect and see that this is one of the highlights of not only just this moment, but her life, I think was really incredible to see.
The guitar itself is a beautiful piece of art, and I love how the music is threaded in throughout the short film. It's really great for anyone who is either passionate about the environment or art. It's a really great story about how people come together for both, and it's really inspiring and uplifting.